Yes!
Welcome to The Know, I'm Meg Turney. Here's what's going on in the world of video games. A number of rumors have Nintendo launching the NX this year, but could that be a mistake? That's what one industry analyst is saying, at least. Probably a few industry analysts, but we're going to talk about just one. Analyst firm DFC commented on Nintendo's supposedly aggressive strategy, saying it would be a mistake under any scenario to launch in 2016, as the NX likely won't make a major impact in the market until 2017. Pretty strong words there, guys, especially because you're screwing us out of a new system. The firm claims that by going up against all this year's VR headsets, Nintendo would end up having a disastrous launch. So basically, they'd be pulling another Wii U. Considering initial reports out of Asia place the system coming out sometime around July, with component suppliers expecting Nintendo to ship around 12 million units by the end of the year, well, it does certainly seem like Nintendo might be doing the opposite of DFC's advice. But hey, when have industry analysts ever been right about anything? According to analysts, consoles should all be dead by now, and all of us should be living inside of MMOs in the cloud. Oh, if only. I want Sword Art to happen. So you just do you, Nintendo, but not the Wii U. You don't do that. That is a Game Gear in someone's hands. All right. According to new findings, don't do that wasn't the advice that humans and Neanderthals followed very well when it came to mixing some DNA. We're talking about sex, baby. Oh yeah. We're talking about you and me. All right, I'll stop. Scientists have discovered that humans and Neanderthals were banging way earlier than ever thought by a good 40,000 years. Sometimes you just gotta bang. Previously, it was thought we scoped out our stocky, low-browed cousins 60,000 years ago when the vast human migration out of Africa occurred. But the genome from a recently tested Siberian Neanderthal revealed human DNA. Carry a few ones, carry a little I's, dot some T's, whatever you do in maths, and it leads to a notion that humans and Neanderthals were mixing as early as 100,000 years ago. We've known for a while that Neanderthals and humans mixed all over the world thanks to the Neanderthal DNA present in all of us, some of which has been linked to conditions like depression or nicotine addictions. Thanks, guys. But we haven't spotted it the other way around like this. So some of our earliest ancestors ventured out into the world in search of more people to bone. Seems about right. We salute you. Star Citizen certainly won't be 60,000 years too early when that game is finally released, if ever. The game's crowdfunding now totals $108 million, and the game, of course, has been pushed back multiple times. Now, in a new interview, game director Chris Roberts shared some regrets about how he communicated Star Citizen's schedule. Speaking with BBC, Roberts explains that game development is fluid, and he wishes he'd been more upfront about how the schedule might change as more money came in. He also says that for his next crowdfunding campaign, he'll be sure to lay that out ahead of time. I'm sure that's not really gonna go over well if he says, hey everyone, look, gonna get some money from you, and the game will come out whenever. That's gonna go over great. But people have crowdfunded Stranger Things, of course. Guacamole, anyone? Potato salad? Who knows? Star Citizen's current release date is late 2016, and I know you're all mad about us ragging on Star Citizen, but we believe in it too. Maybe Star Citizen will get a big budgeted, mega delayed movie someday too. That'd be fun. While comic books are enjoying more than their fair share of limelight, there are some Hollywood producers who feel like video game movies might have their turn next. Speaking at DICE this week, veteran producers Roy Lee and Adrian Ascaria outlined all the reasons that they think video game movies will be the next comic book movies, and more importantly, where so many before them have gone wrong in the past because they've gone very wrong. The number one thing the two pointed out about the future of video game movies is that the development teams need more involvement than in the past, which Ascaria might know firsthand considering that Agent 47, which he produced, is one of the worst reviewed video game movies of all time. And that's saying something. It sounds like he maybe learned his lesson, hopefully, considering he's also producing the Deus Ex movie. Fingers crossed. But while we wait for more probably terrible video game adaptations, we can still enjoy the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is now officially filming. They didn't get the fancy production announcement trailer that Star Wars 8 got earlier this week, but director/writer James Gunn did make a post about the film on Facebook, because it's the future and that's where we announce things. The attached picture seems to reveal Baby Groot! He's so friggin' cute! In the post, Gunn also announced that Kurt Russell has joined the cast, with reports that he'll be there to play Star-Lord's father. Now, according to Marvel, the sequel focuses on Star-Lord's parentage, which is, of course, what we want to know about. Gunn's already spilled the beans that Star-Lord's dad isn't the same one from the comics, so, fingers crossed for a badass appearance by Starhawk, who the developer said is his favorite character. We all ship it. Speaking of old veterans, legendary video game designer Warren Spector is back in the news this week with the announcement that he'll be leading work on System Shock 3, which is really only fitting considering that he developed the original game in the first place. Spector has also been known for his work on Deus Ex, the Ultima series, and Epic Mickey, which was the last game he helmed before teaching at UT. Oh yeah. For those who aren't familiar, System Shock is basically the spiritual predecessor for games like BioShock, just in space and with a crazy AI. We don't know much about the new game other than the fact that the band is getting back together again, which is all very exciting. Considering Spector won't ramp up development until later this year, well, we're probably going to be waiting a while. Since we're bringing back old video game franchises, we might as well bring back other old stuff too, right? You know, like Cold War era weaponry. No doubt inspired by the world's recent love for reboots, scientists have begun to turn to weapon design straight out of the Cold War in order to defend the Earth from asteroids. Right now, Russian scientists are repurposing old ICBMs to target a particularly worrisome asteroid they've identified called 9942 Apophis? That rolls right off the tongue, which would be passing close to Earth in 2036. There's gonna be no world then, come on guys. At the same time, scientists out of the University of California are also proposing an orbiting battalion of laser shooting battle stars to blast asteroids or even nuclear weapons from space. Now, Ronald Reagan pushed for a similar system back in the 1980s in order to shoot down, ironically enough, Russian ICBMs. Asteroid Defense, vodka, dashcam videos, Rocky IV, oh, you Russians always give us the best. What might be an even better story than Rocky, however, is the match that took place between rapper Lupe Fiasco and the world's top Street Fighter pro Daigo, a match that was won by Fiasco. The rapper has been wanting to take on pro gamer Daigo Umehara for some time now and finally got his wish, defeating the champion 3-2 in a best-of-5 match, which shocked gamers everywhere, at least for those who believe it was real. Some fans of the fighting game believe the whole thing was staged, of course, which event organizer Mad Catz has firmly denied. And when has Mad Catz led you astray? Maybe Fiasco just did the same kind of lucky button mashing your little brother always used to do. Spam kick, everyone, spam kick. It does always work for those people. If you've ever looked at a mouse and thought it might be a good place to stick an ear hole, then hey, you might be a future scientist. Researchers from Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center have successfully planted 3D printed ears under the skin of mice, which is really, really creepy, but also kind of cool. Science, always riding that fine line. Until now, scientists have had trouble getting implanted printed tissue to develop into mature tissue past a certain size. However, in this test, they were able to get great results with a tissue the size of a baby human ear. Aww. This is obviously a big step toward creating new functional tissue that can be implanted into human patients, or maybe turn us all into Tetsuo monsters. You know, whatever. Maybe an ear rat could be the future villain in a Wolverine movie. These segues are killing it today, which might be more graphic than any of the other previous Wolverine movies. At Toy Fair 2016 this week, 20th Century Fox revealed that they're targeting an R rating for Hugh Jackman's final run as the Canadian X-Man. After the enormous debut of the rated R Deadpool last weekend, this really isn't too much of a surprise, but it is certainly happening much faster than anyone could have predicted. It's nice to see that Fox is willing to play a little fast and loose with one of their biggest comic book heroes, as an R rating would definitely limit the audience who normally attends Wolverine movies. Although, when you consider that someone who was born the year Jackman first became Wolverine will be old enough to see an R-rated movie when the film releases next year, yeah, maybe it's not such a big deal. Also, I feel really old. Hugh Jackman, ageless wonder. And there's your roundup for today, everyone. Which Marvel character do you think will be Star-Lord's dad in the next Guardians of the Galaxy? Is Nintendo making a mistake by potentially coming up against VR this year? And would you fund another Star Citizen? And why are you so angry about Star Citizen? Let us know in the comments down below. For the latest roundups of geeky news and ancient human Neanderthal banging, like this video and subscribe to the now. Adrian, what the fuck is that name? Ascara? Askira? Ascaray? Oscar? Nope, you're gonna have to look it up.